Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Geek Perspective. And we are doing another horror review today as the who are we?
Terror TV twins.
Thank you. My brain freeze. The Terror TV twins, hello, McFly. It's been a long week. I've had a busy week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're starting a new channel and we're getting up content to put on the new channel. And we figured we'd do some reviews and get the channel going. And we figured let's do Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Tom is a huge Massacre fan, so we figured we'd get into this. The first thing I noticed from watching the film,
Mm-hmm.
did it? I don't think it said anywhere that it was part two. Did it?
No, I don't
It
think
is
they.
part two, but
Well,
it never
yeah,
said anywhere.
it's a direct sequel to the original. So, but people the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Bob Elmore as Leatherface, people call that one too.
Right.
So, but it's not really like a direct sequel. Like this, I mean, and we say I'm saying direct sequel, but it's 50 years later. But it's supposed everything. It's the first movie in this movie. As far as the universe goes right now,
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Look at
yeah,
that
so.
dude.
I never even thought of that, to be honest with you. That never even crossed my mind that
Yeah,
they
I'm
were
like, it's
calling it
gonna be
too.
part two, but it doesn't say part two. I'm like,
Yeah. No,
So it was released on February 18th, 2022, and it was an hour and 21 minutes, which is not a long for a movie, but not bad for a horror movie. Typical. The
2 minutes
director,
shorter than the original.
yes,
2 minutes shorter than
ironically,
the original.
and good reason too. Good reason for it. It wasn't as good. Anyway,
It should
the
have been
director
longer, honestly.
was that.
I think it would have been better if it was longer. I think certain things could have been expanded upon that would have helped the story, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I think an extra 20 to 30 minutes would have really helped this movie. It's in my opinion.
Yeah, time would have told. The director, David Blue Garcia, he has two credits of directorial credits to his name. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Tejano was his other
Never seen
credit.
that.
Yeah, no, me either. And the cinematographer was Ricardo Diaz. Now, Mr. Diaz has 38 credits to his name. Didn't hear of a damn one of them. Not a single credit I ever hear anything from him. I don't know if the man was a fictional character. I have no idea. I don't know if he made stuff up. He's smoking weed when he was filming. I have no idea. But this dude,
I
nothing.
like that. I didn't hear a damn one of them.
Damn one of them. I have no idea if he even exists because, man, it was crazy. Totally insane. So let's go over the cast of characters a little bit. So we have Sarah Yakin as Melody, a San Francisco moneymaker. Didn't look like it. You wouldn't know it. And Elise Fisher as Lila, Melody's little sister. I call her the emo girl. Mark Burnham as Leatherface. Mo Dunford. And I'm like, who is Mo Dunford? What has he been in it? What's he been in?
I have no idea.
Well, wasn't he in Lord of the Rings or something? Not Lord of the Rings. Oh my goodness, the biggest TV show franchise in history on HBO.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Thank you.
What did you say? And Mo Bumford.
Dunford. D-U-N.
Okay, I'll look it up while
he
you're
plays
talking.
Richter, a mechanic who befriends Lila. That was kind of odd. The whole thing was kind of like, what? That didn't make sense to me. Olwen Faree as Sally Hardesty.
He was in Vikings.
Vikings, not
The show
that
Vikings and Patrick's Day.
No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was thinking the other one.
Viking. Yeah, it could have been because I've seen a bunch of those. Let me go to TV. Vikings, the Dublin Murders, Raw. Oh, you what? Game of Thrones.
Oh,
He was
okay.
in one episode in 2012, and you remember him from that. That's impressive, right?
Yeah. Well, well, it's stupid information. If it was important, I wouldn't remember it.
But you remember that guy from one episode in 2012. I'm impressed.
It was a very important episode, apparently.
Yeah, it was. It was the Prince of Winterfell episode. But
There you go.
I wouldn't know. Wow, that's funny. So sorry.
Stupid information. I'm your guy. The dumber it is, the more I know. So Sally played a Texas Ranger, the only survivor of Leatherface in the original film. And she actually replaced Marilyn Burns, who passed away in 2014, sadly. Jessica Elaine as Catherine, an investor. Jacob Lattimore as Dante Spivey, the close friend of Melanie and Lila. I when the movie started, I thought he was dating Melanie at first. I didn't realize that Nell Hudson, who plays Ruth, was his girlfriend. And Alice Krieg plays Virginia Ginny Macumber. Say that fast 5 times.
Macumber.
She's the owner of Leatherface's current home. And William Hope was the sheriff. Sam Douglas as Herb, another first-name guy with no last name. And John Larroquette, which I think is awesome, reprised his role as a narrator. And he also narrated the original film in 2023, in the remake and the prequel. So what are your thoughts overall of the movie?
So, okay. Overall, I liked it. Overall, it's fine, but there's a lot of problems. So, and you're getting it like one of the first, like I said earlier, it should have been longer. Like those characters, you're confused by them. A little bit longer to establish who these characters are, what their deal is, would have helped, I think, right there. Because you thought, two were dating that weren't, it was other two that were dating, So I think right there, right away, that it could have helped, and it could have helped it in a lot of spots. Like when they started to kind of, would talk about something or get it, and then it would be dropped quickly. Which we found, apparently there was issues with the director. There was the original director got fired or had to leave within the first 2 weeks, and so there was some issues with this being made. So I think overall I liked it, but should have been longer in parts. And do you want me to get into my problems with it right now, or you want to save that for a little bit?
Yeah, let's save it for a little bit. We'll save it for when we get into the specific areas.
Yeah, okay.
That way you can go off on your tangent. I like you. I like the movie. I did not like the characters, and maybe it was because of what you just said about they didn't have a time to build the characters. I didn't find many of them very likable. I did like Lila,
the younger sister,
who went through a big trauma. She was my favorite character in the whole film.
Yeah.
Other than Leatherface. Her and Leatherface, my favorite characters. And John Larroquette as a narrator.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was as a movie, it was a good movie. I think if you watched last week's episode, we did a review of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie showed how to do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, whereas this movie kind of felt rushed, a little jumbled, and unlikable characters, in my opinion. That's just the way I felt. And let's get into the characters, why don't we?
Well, speaking of, Mo Dunford's character I had a strange liking for the guy, even though part of me didn't want to like him because he's like a Texas sort of, whatever. It was weird. He had these kind of weird layers to him, and I think that could have been explored more too with his character. because it was like by the end I was really liking him, and at first I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this guy or not, and I
Let
don't
me
know.
ask you: could you tell if he was supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy? Because I couldn't tell. Because at the beginning, I was like, "Oh, he's going to be a dick in the film." And every film horror usually has one of those.
Yeah,
which I was okay with.
yeah,
But then it was kind of like,
yeah. That's what I
saving everybody. I'm like, what is going on here?
That's what I mean. It's like they should have established it more because it was like they were trying to establish him as like the dick, the gun toting, fucking Trump supporting, guy. But then it's like, and
He ain't so bad.
and he's mad that he didn't have the deed to the mother's house. You know what I mean? He's mad about that. But as soon as that guy comes out with all fucked up from getting attacked by Leatherface.
Oh man,
I got you, buddy. I'm gonna go avenge you.
Like,
it was what? So I think that goes back to personally. I mean, I could be way off, but me personally, I think it should have been just established more with the character, and maybe there was originally, and then in editing they took it out. I mean, I don't know. I can only speculate, but yeah, same thing. It's like. It was tough. It was, am I supposed to like this guy? But am I supposed to hate this guy? But by the end, I like him. But it happened so quick, I don't know why. It didn't make sense there. So, Lila, I liked. Like, she is probably the most likable. The younger sister, the older sister, clearly is not likable. She's.
It's a shame because she was cute.
Yeah.
You don't think she was cute? I thought she was cute.
Yeah, no, she was cute, but I mean, like as far as like they kind of made her unlikable, but then like, is she kind of like a surrogate mother to her sister? Because that's what I was getting the feeling of. But why? You got to explain that. Like why? What is going on? Why is she motherly like this? And like, let me know why.
It felt like to me like. For part of that film, I thought she was the overbearing, pain in the ass sister, and then I got to the point where I was like, well, maybe she's like her like taking care of her. Like it was weird. Several of the characters, I had one opinion of them, and then my opinion totally changed, and not for the better. You know what I mean? Like it just became more confusing as to who these people were supposed to be, which made them less likable to me because I'm like, you're all frauds. I want you all to die.
That's valid. And when you think about it, and another thing that they teased and they never expounded upon was she was part of Lila was in like a school shooting or something, you know what I mean? But that could have explained the relationship with the sister, and they never they bring it up and then they never explore it. It's like she rubs the wound, It's like you need to expand. And again, maybe it was because of production and budget, and it got cut out in the editing, maybe. But
straight, they wanted a certain length of the film.
But I think again, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. It's like all these things they were rushed, and they should have just slowed down an extra. And I'm not saying an extra hour, an extra 20 minutes, an extra. Maybe half hour tops, and to establish these things, I think would have helped with all that.
What about Sally Hardisty's character?
And then Dante, it's like, again, am I supposed to like? And then you're clearly not supposed to like him with the whole deed thing going on, but he swears he's got it.
How do you not have the deed?
Yeah,
how do you not have the deed? Like that should be the first thing you make sure you have before you leave. And when you get ready to leave again, you make sure you have it again.
You have the deeds to everything. If you just bought a town, if you just bought a ghost town like that, which has happened. It doesn't. I mean, you would think, and especially when you have all those investors coming.
Yes. Have all your ducks in a row. What about Sally Hardisty's character?
She
I wanted to love her so much.
Yeah, and
issues over there too.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I mean, obviously the original Sally passed away. So what are you gonna do? I still think they should have went with somebody that looked a little more like her. This woman was very grizzled like, and stuff, which was cool. And it kind of made sense within, okay, 50 years she's been preparing for this. But that said, so 50 years, you know, and she's been looking and hunting them down, but then she's in certain scenes, she's frightened like a meek little child. It's like, wait a minute, you're like, are you this badass, or like, what's going on?
Thank you.
Or if again, maybe something got cut out that would have explained that. I don't know. It was weird because yeah, you want to like her. You want. I mean, she's the final girl from the original, so you want that.
And you can be scared. I mean? You can be scared and still be a badass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
everyone's afraid. I don't care who you are. You know, we're all afraid. But it's like, boy, at the beginning, she's like, I'm going to kill him. Yeah. I'm taking him out. I'm like, oh, great. It's going to be it's going to be Laurie Strode versus Michael.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. That's exactly it.
And
then she
can't. What I expected. And then all of a sudden, she's meek and she's like,
she can't even move. She's so terrified. She doesn't even move. She just shuts down.
What is this?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? I'm like, who the hell are you?
It didn't make sense, and maybe it did in I don't. Yes, and you should, like, ideally, she's gonna, like, you know, in most films when that would come back, she would get killed, but it would be like a bit right before the final scene. She would get killed, and then the newer characters would come, and you finish it how you finish it. It was just weird the way they wrote that character, or maybe it was cut out, I don't know, but that character arc was very strange to me.
I think I could have written the characters a little better. I wouldn't give myself a writer at all, but like you said, explain who they are, and like, it seems like every main character start this one thing and then they did a 180. I don't know if that was on purpose, or if it was an accident, or if there was a plan, and because, like you said, the way they edited it, it just didn't show what they wanted to show. I mean, I don't know, but something was up.
Yeah, and it was like almost all the characters.
It was a shame.
And the Leatherface's new surrogate mother, that could have been explained a little better.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, they're in the orphanage and she's still living there with him. But explain it, like it's just very jumbled, and then she dies very quickly. And spoilers, guys, if you haven't watched, but it's been by the time this comes out, it's a month in between. So at least, because she's clearly supposed to be a sympathetic figure, but you got to make me care about her before you kill her. Like,
the best part of the movie for me was her dying, but not because of her dying, but because it moved the story. And again, we discussed this in the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74 movie, how the story progressed.
Yeah.
To me, it started off well, whereas I thought it was weird how she died so quickly or whatever.
Yeah.
But it at least progressed the film to the next character.
Yes.
You know what happened to her, and it moved, but then it like hit a wall, and then everyone in the movie seemed confused. It was like they're all high on weed or mushrooms or something because they forgot who they were. It was weird.
Yeah. It was, because I mean, you're right there, because her death did set up the events of Leatherface. Now, she dies, and then now we get to the what we're all waiting for, Leatherface.
I had high hopes at that point.
Yeah, because it did. It looked like it was going to turn. It was pretty cool on the back of the ambulance, like it was, and like him skinning her and everything. But like you said, then it kind of it was just weird, and like it's never really explained why. I mean, they're kind of out in the boonies, but why there aren't more cops coming when a cop is not responding, when this ambulance just goes off the road, and it's seemingly had been hours by the time he would get back, and and to kill people, skinned them. So I mean, but I can overlook a lot of like that logic.
That's a horror movie.
Stuff makes sense, but it's like, again,
horror movie logic,
Yes, Exactly. You suspend your disbelief because there is horror logic that only makes sense in the horror genre realm, whatever you want to call it. So, but yeah, it was very just clunky with these characters that
It was a shame.
it's. I mean, Lila, I like. Of course, I like Leatherface. Although I have problems with Leatherface too.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah.
Like Leatherface is supernatural. There, I said it. How many bullets does the guy take?
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah.
Like that bothered me. The whole we discussed it when we were
Well,
talking
maybe his
about the
apron was leatherproof. Maybe he had a leatherproof apron.
Could be, maybe.
Possible,
I mean, but he takes them. He's getting hit, and he was limping in the scene. So he's just like we talked about it in the last one. That what I like about it is it's not supernatural, and he's not supposed to be supernatural.
Last of a dying breed.
Yeah, but like he almost felt supernatural in certain things, and then certain kills. Because of the way they did it. And like I said, like I'm not saying obviously the bullets shouldn't kill him if it's the story, but like they don't even, he limps a little, but they don't seem to be affecting him, and he's a human. You know what I mean? So that bothered me about Leatherface. I mean, but there was stuff like I liked like the little tributes to Gunnar Hansen's Leatherface and stuff, but a lot of problems with this film.
Any killings for you stand out in this film?
In
a good or bad way?
So Sally's kind of in a bad way, right? Where is Sally the one where he's holding her up with the chainsaw through her body? Or was that somebody else? That kind of bothered me because again, he's not superhuman and he's holding the person up with the chainsaw through him. The one at the end where they kill Lila's sister there, where again it was cool visually, they're cool, but again he's not supernatural, and the way he did it was just like no effort at all to like pull her through a window and hold her and use a chainsaw to chop. So you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard that is? I used to be a landscaper. It's
did you get the feel though that they felt like they needed something big at the end to kind of justify the film? That's what I felt like to me.
Yeah.
Like you need something big at the end to justify the film.
Yep.
Like they had to do something like, oh, we're gonna have the splash ending. Mm-hmm. And you don't always need that in a film. This film needed a lot of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I like the movie. It's just that there were a lot of small issues that I had. And apparently, we're not alone that feel that way. I guess a lot of people feel the same way and have issues, sadly.
What were your thoughts on the sort of subplot of the investors? And then that whole death scene there, that whole scene in the bus.
That reminded me that the investors to me wasn't needed. Them in general. I think they could have had, say that you're having a party to celebrate them buying the town or whatever, have a party in one of the buildings, blah, blah, whatever. I don't think the investors was needed. The bus scene itself, while I thought it was fun, reminded me of a bad Jason movie, where Jason comes in and just starts fucking people up and says, "I hate you all, you're all gonna die." And it was like, right.
Visually, it was fun. Like you said, I loved it visually like that. I thought it was fun. But I can see what you're saying because I didn't have that big of a problem with it. Again, like the whole investors party and then them having to be on the bus or whatever.
Like they were like oblivious.
Yes.
Now I've been to parties.
Right.
I'd like to know that if someone's on a bus slashing people
with a chainsaw,
I would notice this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Oh man.
No, I get it. Like I said.
People,
what's that?
Young people, Play
Yeah,
high-end shrooms.
yeah, that look like, influencers and stuff. So again, and I like that aspect of it too, because they kind of seemed like just, you
Self-absorbed.
know, they were supposed to be a stereotype of like the younger generation of self-absorbed influences and stuff. And, so part of me is just, being a crotchety old man being like, yeah, I like that. But I can definitely see what you're saying about being like the worst part of Jason kills too and stuff, because it's but I had fun with that. Now, did you see the end credit scene?
Yes.
Yeah, where he's walking up the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't originally, and then you told me about it. Wait a minute, I have to go back and watch this. So I went back and watched it.
Because I remember Shay was like, "Did you see the mid-credit scene?" And I was like, I'm sure I did. I said I'm drawing a blank, and it was the whole thing with Lila and her sister in the car. We were kind of already talked about that kill where he pulls her out. Oh, I did like that the car was self-driving. I liked that little thing, like, and her looking out the top as it's driving away, and him doing the tribute to Gunnar Hansen, the dance. I like, but yeah,
that was the best part of the film.
What's that?
That was the best part of the film.
Well, and I like the end credit where he's walking up the old driveway there, and so seemingly setting up for more movies. Like going back to the old house or whatever. And
depending on how well it does, they definitely thought of doing more, I'm sure.
I mean, I guess the ending is a nod to the original.
Yeah.
Like where she is, jumps in the back of the truck and he takes off in the original, and she's like, still screaming, looking back, and she's same thing, looking out, and so that's kind of cool. Like I like all those little homages to the original. I thought that
right away. I'm like, it's paying homage to the end of the first film. That's awesome.
Yeah,
and paying homage to what's her face there.
Yeah. So like I said, it's how excited I was for this movie. So
I was too. I was like, the game coming out in a year, and looking forward to it. All the stuff we're finding out about the game, we should probably cover some of that stuff in future episodes too.
Yeah.
And it was just, man, it's just, to me, didn't live up to the hype, and I'm pretty sure the game's going to be better than this movie was, without a doubt. Everything
everything that I've read that you sent me, all that, it looks pretty awesome. And yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I'm thinking that it's going to be better than the movie. Again, it wasn't a worse movie, guys. I did like it. I mean, overall,
there were worse movies.
What?
There were worse movies.
Yes. Overall, I liked it. It just
we're nitpicking on a franchise, on a great franchise.
Yes, as a super fan of the franchise, it's disappointing. But I mean, overall, I had fun. I'll watch it again. There's others that kind of fall under the franchise or umbrella that I don't need to watch again. Where this one I will. So
I think this movie's better than the 2003 version. Like, some of those were just horrible. Just like, and part of it was respecting the first two movies so much. I was a big Bob Elmore's fan from the second movie. And it was like, I respect the classics.
Yeah.
So when you're gonna remake something, you better do a good job in my eye, because if you don't, you're dead to me.
You did to me.
Just horrible, and this wasn't that bad. This wasn't, but it's just there were a lot of small issues that we both felt that were in this movie. That's all. I mean, no movie's perfect. Movie had issues going in, like you said. The director got changed, which is hard to do mid-film, beginning of filming. It's like,
Even like I said, it was 2 weeks in or 3 weeks. Even then, it's hard because you got to realize even before they're filming, there's a lot of work that even directors do. And it's not. They're doing rewrites and exploring characters and there's a lot. So yeah, it's not an easy thing to deal with, in a film when you're going under. And there was supposed to be some other issues. You guys can, if you're curious, do a Google search or a Google News search of it, and you'll get some articles that'll, kind of talk about that there were some issues, and which is unfortunate, but it's common. I mean, especially in the horror genre, it seems like we hear about that a lot. Like issues with movie, like budget or whatever it is, more so in the horror than it seems like any other genre for some reason. I don't know why that is. Maybe because because horror is so embedded with franchises, and it's like, which are like intellectual property, and so strange though.
So, how many chainsaws did you give this film, Tom?
Oh God, that's tough. So if you haven't listened or watched last week's episode, we reviewed the original, and I gave it 4 3/4 out of 5, and only because it's like I don't think any movie can get like a full 5. Maybe 1 or 2. So this one. Oh God. I'll go 2.5 chainsaws.
Oh,
It's
2.5. So Tom gave it a 2.5. I myself, I had issues with the acting, the actors, the story. I don't think it was a horrible movie by any stretch of the imagination. I think it could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse. And I'm hopeful that if they do another movie, it'll make up for the shortcomings of this film. This was a Netflix film. It wasn't their best take, but that given, I think it's better than some of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I'm going to give it a 3.0.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got a feeling you were going to go right in that area.
I just think it was. I liked the movie. It's just that it was confusing to me a little bit, and some of the characters, their little arcs didn't kind of sync as well as they could have. But this movie had issues, and sometimes you can't fix all the issues, And it was a Netflix film. God knows how much they wanted to spend. I don't know how much they spent on the film.
Yeah, Netflix, they're notoriously cheap.
Yeah, so it's like, so yeah, I give it a 3.0. What did you guys think? Let us know down below. And if you guys have a movie or a TV show, horror-wise, thriller, you want us to review, let us know. Send us a comment. Who's your favorite horror character? Tom's a Leatherface guy. I'm a Jason Voorhees guy. Who do you guys love? Let us know down below, and we can debate who the best character is. Maybe with March Madness, we should do a bracket system for all the horror characters and see who the best horror character of all time is.
That'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun. I mean, and there's a lot of characters out there. I want to meet somebody whose favorite horror character is Leprechaun. Those are a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie.
I love Leprechaun movies.
It's the original was actually kind of scary.
Was that?
The original was kind of scary. Then they kind of went off into the campiness after that. But
I think that was the right way to go, though, for that.
Yes. Oh, agreed. Just like Chucky does. When you got something like that, where it's a doll or I agree. Embrace the campiness to it.
Yep. Some of the best hot doll movies embraced it, and they became huge because of it. Some classics.
Evil Dead. People. Those originals. Evil Dead. They knew it was campy. You know what I mean? They had that shoestring budget, but they played it up, and they kind of. I mean, if you think about it, they're one of the originators of fucking that sort of campy horror style is Evil Dead, and which he's that's one of my all-time favorite. That's probably number 2 for me. Now that I would, I think I used to say Evil Dead was my favorite, but then I matured and realized Leatherface was actually better.
I love Evil Dead though.
Evil Dead is a great franchise.
It really is.
It's yeah.
So any final words on the movie?
No, I mean, hey guys, like I said, I know it sounded like we pretty down on it. I still think you should watch it. I do.
Oh, definitely.
It's worth it. It's only an hour and 21 minutes. I mean,
it goes by. You have to watch it.
It goes by like that because being an hour and 20 minutes, you got to get into the action pretty quick. On a short movie like that. So it's yeah, check it out. I mean, maybe you'll like it more than us. And I know I'm super critical as a super fan, so but definitely check it out.
Definitely. All right, guys, that'll be it for today's episode. So tune in next week for another great episode. We're going to leave it as a surprise. So let us know what you guys want us to review for horror movies or TV shows. And let us know who your favorite horror character is. Come on, tell us. We want to know. We want to know. All right, guys? So for Tom and myself, thank you for watching. Terror TV Twins are coming soon, so get ready. Take care, people. Be safe.
Thanks, guys.